Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's Fox2. In today's video, we have some exciting news, some new information on the inbound Modern Warfront, which is obviously going to be released on the 7th of November. Now, I am quite interested in seeing this video since it has got some new, more specific information on how the game is going to be. So without further ado, let's head into this video and see what we can gather about the inbound Modern Warfront.
Hey everyone, MWT Tank Battles is almost here and we've got some awesome features to share with you. Check out these 10 cool facts.
Now, this looks like an interesting vehicle. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but it looks something like maybe the Abrams X. You guys can let me know in the comments below. It's a very, very modernistic looking tank. In fact, it looks more like a concept tank at the moment. Probably an Abrams X by the look of it. I'm not very familiar with many of the modern concepts, but you guys can let me know in the comments below what this vehicle is.
You might not know about the game.
Alright, we've got an A10A. That's really cool.
There will be hundreds of different military vehicles battling it out in MWT Tank Battles.
Now, this is something really, really cool that we can gather from this freeze frame here. That is a really, really nice feature that we don't have in either War Thunder Mobile or World of Tanks Blitz. As we can see here, it looks to be that it's a night mode on the map of the desert here. It looks like we're going to have day and night on different maps. That will be really, really cool, and a feature that we don't have in World of Tanks Blitz or in War Thunder Mobile. And also we can see that there's rain, so this shows that we're also going to have different weather systems as well, which I really, really do like about, since we don't have that in War Thunder Mobile or World of Tanks Blitz at this moment.
Each with a carefully designed damage model.
Alright, we've got a howitzer here.
And where you hit and what you hit. Taking out an ammo rack or engine will cause devastating damage and fire.
So this is something I have been looking at, and something I've been very interested in knowing about how this game is going to perform when it comes to how realistic it is. As we can hear, there is going to be modules in the tank. Even though we have got an HP system similar to World of Tanks Blitz, it's also going to have modules that can be damaged and cause a lot more damage than other spots in the tank. Now, it's got some similarities to how World of Tanks Blitz is and some differences. So, for an example, in World of Tanks Blitz, there are some points in the tank that do more damage than others, but it's not really much of a difference. It's only really armor-wise. And, of course, you can hit crewmates, as well as, for an example, you can hit the ammo rack, which will knock the entire tank out. And you can set it on fire, which will slowly but surely eat away at the HP. But what this seems to have different is that there will probably be quite a significant difference in the amount of damage done based on where you hit the tank. While on World of Tanks Blitz, the only real significant difference in damage is detonating the ammo rack or setting the tank on fire. Otherwise, there's not really that much of a significant difference. So it looks like we're going to have that in this game, which is going to be very, very nice.
While hitting an empty troop compartment or unmanned turret will do far less.
Yeah, like what we can gather from this, like it was just said in the video, he's shooting at an empty spot on the tank, as we can see right here, and it's doing very, very minimal damage because there's no modules and no crew in that particular point. Also, it looks like he's running APFSDS rounds, and we all know APFSDS will not do as much damage as something like HE, for an example, which by the looks, that looks like a BTR. You could probably load an HE through the side of that tank and do quite significant damage.
External armor models are destructible. They can be knocked off, exposing the main armor for high damage hits.
This is something I like the look of. It's quite similar to War Thunder. The fact that we can knock off and alter enemy armor by doing damage to it. For an example, we can see these side plates to create spaced armor. Once I take a hit, they fall off, which is a very, very nice feature. I'm very pleased to see this.
Additionally, some tanks have armor that weakens.
Now, from this graph here, I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see when the game is released. As he said, it is going to be armor. As we can see, it says reactive armor, durability 1500, and it will weaken every time it takes a hit. Now, the thing I'm interested in is from this graph, is this an armor inspector like we have in War Thunder PC? If we have an armor inspector in-game, that will be super epic. It's something we don't have in War Thunder Mobile. I have no idea why Gaijin still hasn't added that, but if we have this in Modern Warfront, it will be really, really cool.
With each hit gradually reducing their durability.
Something else we can gather here from this image is gun damage. We are going to have the ability to knock out the enemy gun. As you can see, that gun there is completely splintered outwards, meaning he will not be able to fire. This is something I really like. It's not something we really have in World of Tanks Blitz. It is possible, but it doesn't really work that well. I am very much pleased with this as well, that they added that level of realism to the game. Okay, we've got an Object 120.
Damage is simply to ram the enemy. It probably shouldn't be your go-to strategy, but you can definitely finish off a severely damaged enemy with a well-timed head-on ram.
Now, this is going to be something that just is going to add a layer of lots of fun to the game. The ability to ram enemies and do damage. It's not something we have in War Thunder Mobile. I mean, sure, you can actually crush someone. I've been crushed against a wall when I was driving the Wiesel by a mouse, and he killed me by squishing me into the wall. But it's not really a common thing. The fact that we can do damage here, it might not be the most realistic thing. Some people might complain it's not as realistic, but it's something we do have in World of Tanks Blitz, and I personally think it will be a lot of fun. It's something that creates a lot of memes, and it's just something a lot of people enjoy, especially in World of Tanks Blitz, just when they sort of want to waste time and have a lot of fun.
There are amphibious vehicles in the game. For tanks with this capability, water is not an option.
Now, this is something I really like, the amphibious vehicles. It's not something we have in a World of Tanks Blitz. We do have it in War Thunder Mobile, though. But you don't really use them that much because there's not really that much water, except for on Poland. And even on Poland, you're not really going to be wanting to go into the lake that much. There's absolutely no point. But, as we can see in this particular map, there is a lake right in the middle that you might want to cross. In fact, it's going to be faster to cross straight across the lake than to drive around, which is an area where having an amphibious vehicle will be quite an advantage, so long as you don't get caught by the enemy as you're crossing and get shot over there, because it'll probably also slow you down quite a lot being in the water.
But an opportunity for impressive tactical plays. For instance, on some maps, it's faster to cross the river than take a long route around the shore. As a pilot, you can land planes or helicopters on strategic points to capture them for your team. Planes with vertical takeoff and landing capabilities are especially good at this.
Now, this was something I had mentioned in my previous video, and this has been a big concern for me in the game, and I'm glad it seems to have worked out. It's the ability to land aircraft. Now, I'm still not 100% sure about how good the aircraft physics is going to be, but there is one thing I am happy about, is that we can land them, unlike in, for an example, modern warships. Now, the other concerns I do have is the aircraft physics, because to be honest, in modern warships, I really do hate the physics of helicopters and planes. For an example, with aircraft, like planes, you cannot crash it into the ground. You can crash it into a cliff, for an example, but not into the ground. No matter what you do, the plane will always pull up just in time and not allow you to crash. And then with helicopters as well, there is no control of altitude. You only have a single standard altitude, and you cannot control that. Now, I'm really, really hoping that the plane's physics is going to be better in this game, that you can crash it into the ground. Obviously, that's not something you're going to want to try and do deliberately. And also that with the helicopters, you can control their altitude. If they do not add this, I feel that that will be quite a spoiler of the game and make it quite a lot less enjoyable to play. So I'm really hoping that Artstorm pays attention to that detail.
Combining speed with the ability to hover and deliver precise fire on ground targets.
We can see a good view of the map here. This map looks really, really awesome. It looks like quite a good size, I'm not going to lie. It looks slightly larger than War Thunder Mobile maps as well as World of Tanks Blitz maps. It's got a lot of terrain difference. This is something we don't have in War Thunder Mobile, and also In World of Tanks Blitz, we do have that, but the maps are really, really tiny. Look at the terrain. That is really, really cool. I am super excited to be able to play on maps like this. Alright, we've got drones here.
Drones. Small recon UAVs help spot enemies and direct artillery strikes.
We can see here from this drone, like the guys just said in the video, that it's calling for an artillery strike. So with this kind of drone, this is more of a scout drone, you'll be able to use it to call for artillery strikes and really just do some recon basic stuff. Not particularly assault orientated with this kind of drone. Alright, there we can see the artillery landing.
Carry heavy weapons and can even ram ground vehicles.
Alright, we saw an assault drone there for a split second. It had a missile carrier on the top. I don't know if it's going to be something that can be reloaded, because that, to me, that looked like it could only fire a singular shot. I don't know what level of realism they're going to have there, whether you're going to have to fly back to wherever your point of takeoff is with a drone to reload, or whether it will just reload in the air, which will be slightly unrealistic. Now that's interesting. Looks like we have suicide drones in the game. That's going to be interesting to play, to say the least.
Watch out. Flying too low makes drones an easy target for anti-aircraft fire, even from basic machine guns.
Okay, we can see that drones will not be too OP by the fact that they can be taken down by machine guns and anti-aircraft fire. Now, something I'm interested in knowing though is, will drones also have altitude control, like I mentioned with the helicopters? Because if they do, then they probably will still be OP, because you can simply fly very, very low and zoom in and out behind buildings and stuff like that, and the anti-air will be able to do pretty much nothing against you, because you're so small, you're so fast, and you're just zipping in and out between the buildings, where they pretty much just cannot reach you no matter what. So I'm interested in seeing that as well when the game is released.
Aircraft loadouts are fully customizable. Each weapon slot can be filled independently, letting you mix and match for any...
This interface looks kind of similar to modern warships right now. Not much to see here other than the stats of the different missiles, but it looks very, very much the same as modern warships.
Scenario. Quickly adapt to battlefield conditions by switching between different ammo types and weapon systems.
This graphics looks really nice on the plane right there. Alright, we've got more night maps.
Weapon physics play a key role. For example, you can hit the enemy behind cover using a laser-guided anti-tank missile. Just fire slightly off target and guide the missile around the obstacle.
There's not much to say about this. That's pretty usual. It's something that's very, very common in War Thunder and War Thunder Mobile. That's something that players have been doing since forever, so not much to see here, although that is a very fun tactic.
Even unguided weapons follow realistic physics. Explosive rounds deal damage even when they hit the ground near the enemy.
That's good attention to detail right there. I'm glad to see that.
Some of the shrapnel from the nearby explosion, so rivers provide extra protection from artillery.
That is a level of detail I'm very happy to see, that they even paid attention to the fact that water will absorb a lot of the shrapnel from artillery rounds or high explosive rounds.
Finally, you can add a lot of flair to fierce battles. Our livery editor lets you decorate your vehicles with decals and...
Now, this is something I am very, very happy to see. This is just absolutely brilliant. I think this was an absolute brainwave that Artstorm had. The ability to customize vehicles to this level, we don't have that in World of Tanks Blitz or War Thunder Mobile. This is gonna be so much fun to be able to personalize your vehicle like this. And I did see somebody commented already in the official trailer that they can already see funny little German symbols popping up on the vehicles, which will probably happen. But I am looking forward to this. I'm probably going to design myself a logo on each of my vehicles, probably something like a Fox 2 logo, and maybe even slap a YouTube logo onto a lot of the sides of a lot of my vehicles. This is going to be very cool. Also, you'll be able to probably design very, very unique liveries with your own custom colors as well. That is going to be a lot of fun. I'll probably do a lot of orange ones, just themed on my colors. So that is just something I'm very, very delighted with, to say the least.
Share your designs in the in-game hub.
That is also really fantastic. You'll be able to share your designs, and I think you'll also be able to probably sell them as well in the game hub. That's going to be super duper cool. I think a lot of people will love this to create, especially maybe realistic liveries. I've got a slight suspicion there's going to be a hell of a lot of people creating anime liveries and selling them. Sort of like we have on War Thunder Live, there's literally an endless supply of anime liveries. But I'm very interested in seeing what more or less realistic ones, since I'm more of a historical guy. So I'd like to see what players start designing and selling on the in-game hub with their liveries.
Let us know what you think in the comments and stay tuned for more updates on MWT Tank Battles. The game's launch is almost here, so keep watching our videos to stay battle ready.
Okay, in conclusion to this video, I think that Modern Warfront has a ton of potential. It's got a lot of features that World of Tanks Blitz and War Thunder Mobile don't have. It just looks like it's gonna be very, very cool. Although, there is a but. And that but is that there are some concerns for the realism I have, especially regarding aircraft that I have from my experience playing Modern Warships. And I really, really do hope that Artstorm will pay attention to that and not make that mistake, making the aircraft identical in performance to Modern Warships, because for me that will personally ruin the game a little bit and ruin the experience. But we'll have to wait and see for that. As always, let me know in the comments below what you guys think of Modern Warfront, and if you're excited for its release on the 7th of November. And if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.